Welcome back. This is part 2 of On the Sofa with Mr. Matt Young. We're talking about social media. If you missed part 1, go back and have a look. We've talked about Twitter for about 20 plus minutes. But it's good. Go and watch it. And this time, this is episode 2, part 2, we're going to talk about Snapchat. So both Matt and I have started using Snapchat quite a bit lately. And we'll just have a little chat about what it is for those who've never used it, and maybe some tips about growing your following or best uses of Snapchat. So it's pretty new for... How long have you been on Snapchat? It's pretty new for me.
I've probably had an account for probably 18 months.
Oh, have you?
Maybe even 2 years.
Okay.
Ridiculous. And hardly used it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden recently, because of the people that we are influenced by, have started to really use it and go all in on it, we've started to use it as well.
We pick up on it, we follow the trend, and we...
Absolutely,
But we see it working now. I think it did feel like a young person's, a child's app, or...
Totally.
Or like an app where you didn't want to put your stuff out there publicly.
Yeah.
Which sounded counterintuitive, really, at the time. We wanted to put stuff out there, as many people as we could get to see it, and it'd last for as long as possible, get as many views on a video. That doesn't work with Snapchat. So let's just explain. I'll let you talk and explain how Snapchat works for anyone who's not used it.
It's evolved. It used to just be photos. It's now more about video, even though you can still take photos. But where they changed it a bit was you could individually send images to each other, which of course led kids to send each other lots of rude pictures. And mums and dads went, this is an awful thing. And I always want to defend social media. It's not social media's fault. It's society's fault, all right?
It's the person who uses it.
It's not bloody Snapchat's fault. It's the way that you brought your kids up. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I've said it now.
It's out there.
But, so people were sending photos. Then they started to introduce video, and then they introduced this thing called stories. And what it basically does is allow you to kind of diarise your day. So you can film a little, only maximum of 10 seconds. You can film a little outsert or what's it? Not an outsert, whatever it is.
A little part of your
little
day.
10-second thing. I was going to say outtake, but that's a mistake.
Really.
Like what I just did. But you can film this short section and it goes into your story. And then if you film another one, it sits right next to that story. So you kind of watch it in a sequence. So you can make a little film and you can diarise your day.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite interesting because a lot of people are doing this. You can still send individual messages, but you do it. I see Nick, you walk to work almost every morning, and I've seen him go through winter where he's been battered up to the eyeballs, looking freezing cold, holding his phone with, I know how cold your hands get, because I do it on my dog walks. I walk around parks in the morning, talking into my phone, most of the time being quite personal, but also giving little hints and tips as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of evolved into this thing now, and grown-ups are using it. I'm almost a grown-up. I'm definitely old.
On the way. Growing up.
Yeah, and and listen, my wife looks at me and goes, what the heck are you doing? Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm using Snapchat. Oh, isn't that a thing for the kids? And yes, we have a 13-year-old daughter who I communicate with via Snapchat.
Brilliant, I love that.
She's in her bedroom. Rather than, I call upstairs, and I call upstairs, she ignores me. So if I Snapchat her, I know she's going to look at that.
You know she's seen it.
Exactly. So it's the thing that really hits home is when you look at the audience of tomorrow, the kids who are using it these days. And when I say kids, I'm being flippant. I mean, under 25s are all over this. And there is an audience there who have disposable income. So these guys could be influenced to spend money with you by having that. What I think I see it best for is brand building from a person's point of view. You run your business, I run my business. So it's good for me to put information out there that will build my brand. I follow people like Forbes, who's a magazine who do wealth stuff. They make a Forbes 500 list of the wealthiest people in the world. They've started to do stuff and they hand it around to different members of staff. And it's a mobile platform. Has to be done purely on your mobile.
Yeah, everything's purely mobile. You can't log onto the computer and start going on Snapchat.
No, which again is the way things are going. Social media is a mobile thing. So if you're not using a mobile phone or you've not got an up-to-date phone...
That's on my phone. iPhone 5S. It's not that old.
6S Plus.
Oh, today?
I literally got it yesterday. Literally. So it's like a proper new toy. But that is a tool. That's a tool for my business.
It is.
I actually, sincerely, I wanted a bigger screen because actually when I do a snap, you can draw on the screen as well, something else.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm going to get a little stylus and you can actually draw stuff on the screen. So you can type, but but you have a limited space.
It is quite hard with your finger.
And my fat thumbs and stuff like that, it doesn't work. But get stylish, you can draw stuff on there. There are some artists that have created businesses through putting art out on social media, through Snapchat. They'll take a photo and draw a mermaid outfit on themselves or something like that. Okay. I follow them just because I think it's quite interesting.
I've seen artists do really well, won't move platforms, that on Instagram have done phenomenally well.
Yeah.
But it'd be worth sort of seeking some of those out on Snapchat and see how creative they are.
Incredible.
Because we just go, draw like a hat on you.
Pair of horns
that's
on someone's head.
The extent of our artistic
Or if you don't like someone, you can cross someone's face out. I mean, don't get me wrong, as you can see, it can be childish, but actually I think social media as a whole is actually quite a fun place.
Yeah.
And that
suits... I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it suits my personality. I got a snap, a bit of a humble boast. I got a snap back today from a professional footballer who's someone I know, and he's on loan at a local club. And I said, "Oh, how are things going?" We had a bit of a chat with him, and by the end of the conversation, he just went, "I love watching your snaps. They make me laugh every day."
Oh, cool.
Now, I have done business with him.
Okay.
I have actually done business with him. I helped him get a website built. But whether that's, this is after the game, I've made some money from that relationship already.
Yeah.
But he enjoys my snaps. We were comparing numbers, which is a very blokey male thing to do. And I don't get, my snaps aren't seen by many people. The top guys out there will get hundreds of thousands of views within a couple of minutes.
Straight away.
I think the most I've ever had is about 40.
It's more than me.
But it's a platform I've only just started putting some time and effort into. You can't be shy because you have to press the button on your camera and talk into it.
Yeah. So right there and then it's live,
Yeah, but
there's no post-production.
There isn't. I mean, you can do a bit of drawing.
But you can't edit it out or...
Absolutely. The good thing is you can download the snaps. You can save the actual 10-second films. And someone like Dapper Laughs.
Yeah, we'll follow.
pretty controversial guy, but let's look at it in how he uses the tool. He creates the videos, 10-second videos, downloads them all, edits them all together, and publishes them as a 2-3 minute video on Facebook.
Yeah.
So he's using the same content that he's created live.
Actually, good strategy.
And put it elsewhere.
Yeah, because a lot of people that are on Facebook are not necessarily going to go over to Snapchat and follow them on Snapchat, but the content still gets seen on the platform that they spend their time on, Facebook.
And from a creator's point of view, rather than having this beautiful studio, which I'm sure costs so much dollar to set up, I can make silly little videos on my phone, which cost me a monthly subscription, download them, use my free software on my computer to make them into one video and upload them to YouTube, which is free to use. So there's no excuse for anybody not doing video. You have to put the time and effort in, but Snapchat is actually making it more versatile. And if I had the brains, I'd love to be part of that company and try and help them move forward.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're going to go next, but I've totally committed to sending out snaps all the time and learning from it.
It's the stories thing, isn't it? That is what developed. That's what changed it for me. Yeah. Is that I didn't really have anybody to talk to. I didn't really want to talk to anybody on Snapchat, like privately, one-to-one. Yeah. It was the publishing, the broadcasting of my information. Look at me.
It's all about you.
It's all about me. Once I got to record that and publish it, and the people could watch it, then it got a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. You can publish. Was it 10 seconds? Even though we've just had a bit of a problem with the initial button working thing.
When you press the button to start recording, you have to there's a bit of a lag. Got to give it about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, so you end up with about 7 seconds of video at the end. Yeah. But you could just you publish that one, then you do another one, we both use it for telling our story of the day, really, behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's interesting for me anyway, what's happened is that's almost evolved into getting me to do my vlog, like that's turned into Nick's world.
Yeah.
It's like I got a bit more comfortable just turning the camera on and talking. And even though like 4 people watched it initially, you're like, oh, but I'm used to doing this now. I'm publishing video and it is out there. It's not my fault that nobody watched it. But now you started more comfortable doing a proper vlog and just switching it on and naturally talking to camera, which we've spoken about sort of at Social Media Cafe for probably a good year about just do it. Just switch the cameras on and start talking about your business because everybody else is more interested than you probably are. It's much more interesting from an outside perspective how somebody does something. It's kind of why we do these. You get to have a look at what we do. You get to have a look at how Matt runs his business and how he uses social media. And it's an interesting story to people to find out how you do things. And so just becoming a bit more natural, switching that camera on to talk and let people know how you do things.
People, and you're right to make the assumption, people will say, yeah, but you used to be on the radio and you can talk. And I have that advantage, but I'm using that advantage to market my business. What advantage have you got? It's trying to find out what is your USP. How can you stand out? If you're shy in front of camera, my wife would never do this, but my wife is quite creative. So she could be the person that makes quilts, and then she'll take a photo of that quilt and put it out on Snapchat. So there's another way of looking at it. If you don't want to be the person that actually, because you don't have to film yourself, you can film the other way as well. You know, what is it that you sell? What is it you want to market? Do you want to show people where you live? If you run a B&B, film some stuff near where you live and say, look at how beautiful it is around here. You should come and visit us. Yeah. If you're shy to be in front of the camera, you can still talk, or you can keep quiet and write text on there. It could bring the extrovert out of the introvert if you wanted to, or it could help the introvert get their message out there by not actually being too afraid to record a video. So, yeah, it's not for everyone. Like, every platform's not for everyone.
No, a lot of people that I speak to about Snapchat, they just don't get it. They're just like, why would I, I don't get it. Why would I spend my time on it? It's,
do you know?
I don't want disappearing content.
Yeah. Do you know Scott Gould, who did Like Minds?
Yeah.
Quite an influential guy locally. Someone I certainly look up to, and he's back in the game. And I tell you what,
I haven't heard anything from him for ages. He's back on it.
He's around at the moment. he's talking about engagement, and he's just got this formula for engagement, and I just think it's absolute genius.
Okay.
And I said to him, you need to be on Snapchat. Showed him it. He went on it. He sent me a couple of messages, and he went, Matt, it's not for me. He's just, and he said, he's an intelligent man, but he just says, I don't get it. It's not for me. I don't feel comfortable doing it. There's other ways. His target audience is FTSE 500 companies.
Right.
How many FTSE 500 company directors are using Snapchat? I would assume virtually none.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty limited.
Maybe he's not there. For me, it's about building the brand of me, my business, which is very vainly called Mr. Matt Young. But that was called that because that's the Twitter name.
I like it.
It's the Twitter name I had.
It's you.
From 7 years ago.
Okay.
So that's why I use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we're off topic a little bit there, trying to be a bit humble. My business is named after me. Nick on the couch.
Don't worry, we'll put the names and the links in and everything. Yeah, Nick on the sofa with Nick, Nick's World, Nick Elephant Nugget.
We love a bit of narcissism. But yeah, as Scott, one of the most intelligent people I know, doesn't like it, won't use it. If it's not for you, don't concentrate your time there. Move on to something that you would prefer. But in the overall big scheme of things, get on social media. Yeah.
There's one more part of Snapchat that I think is the best part of Snapchat we haven't talked about yet is Snapchat Discover.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal for me as a business model, how that's working. I'd like to see our products, like our Roundup TV stuff, move in that way. I've actually looked at how to develop those apps, and phenomenally expensive to build and manage. You pay for how much data gets streamed through the app, for Christ's sake.
So the more people see it, the more you pay.
Yeah, crazy. But Snapchat Discover is a bit that they added on. So initially Snapchat is a communication tool. It's allowed two people to talk to each other and the content disappears after they sent the message. Then there was stories, which now lasts for 24 hours, of a story of you. And then there's this whole media side, which is Snapchat Discover, where they partner with publishers that can put news content and stories who's on there? Like Sky News are on there. Yeah, Discovery, MTV.
Should we find out?
Yeah, we might pull something up on the screen.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got to put something on the screen now.
We'll mobile screencast here.
So we've got, Comedy Central, Mashable, Sky Sports, The Daily Mail, National Geographic, BuzzFeed, MTV. And they'll give you little stories that you can watch every single day.
Yeah.
And you can discover a bit more, read a bit more about that. But then also inside the platform, they've also got today's live topic is an Indian festival. Sometimes it'll be a big football match. If Man United are playing West Ham, they'll have it, and people can snap.
Yeah.
And they can, when they go and send it, you get the chance to send it also, so it will go on that live stream.
This is how I didn't understand how that linked together.
How did they be there?
How did they curate the content? Geographical, and then when you snap it, it gives you an option. Because I've obviously never been in one of those locations to do that.
So instead of sending it to your story, you would try and attempt to send it to someone, and then it would say, "You're here. Would you like to also add this to the story?"
Ah, fantastic.
Because you have to be within a zone to discover that.
Yeah.
The other thing I am loving, and I've just seen a podcaster use it. He's gone on a pub crawl around London, and on Snapchat you can put some really, really cool filters on it. The filters are ridiculous. If you can put some snap, if you get the snap of the face swap that
We did a face swap earlier on, yeah.
You've got to put that in this video somewhere.
Okay,
that's
we're
your
down
challenge. But you can get different filters, and some of the filters are little text and edit and design things around the bottom.
Yeah.
And it can be, you could have one for Torbay, you can have one for Exeter. If you stand outside Exeter Cathedral and you do a snap, it will give you the opportunity to write Exeter across the bottom.
Yeah,
of it.
like a design.
And you can now get your own
overlay.
ones made. For like $10,
No way.
you can have your own Snapchat filter, and then you can buy a geographical area. So if someone's coming to your conference, you can buy a Snapchat filter. So when they're there and they're snapping, they can put that filter in there, and it's a branding exercise. I mean,
Love that.
That's how they're developing.
I mean, I saw Gary Vee had one for himself, and then he had one for his book launch.
And you're thinking
I'm thinking he's an investor.
lots of money.
Yeah.
He can do that.
Yeah,
Well,
he just calls Snapchat and says, "Make me a filter."
Yeah. Last night in London, there was a podcasters pub crawl. And the guy that runs that, a guy called Mike, he created lots of different UK podcasters, his brand, Snapchat filters. And when people were snapping as they were going around in the pub crawl, in different areas at different times, he had the whole south bank of the River London covered for 2 hours.
No
So you can
way.
only use his filter for 2 hours. It's a great branding exercise.
That is brilliant. I love that.
That's where they develop. Where they're going to go next, I can't wait.
I love
to find
watching it
out.
develop though. I love watching how they, that's a great tool to getting your brand out there. And how do you apply for them? Do you know how to?
I don't.
You don't. Let's
Never
find
done
out. We're gonna find out.
We can find out.
We'll find out. I want my Snapchat.
Michael, tell us.
Snapchat filter. That is brilliant, though. So that'd be great for a conference, for example.
Yeah.
Everyone who snaps at the conference is going to pull up, and the video is going to be branded with your conference for everybody that sees it. You don't have to rely on them typing on it or drawing a picture or saying where they are. Yeah. You just say choose the filter.
If you're a venue, you could have a permanent filter put in place.
Could, yeah.
So that every time someone comes and snaps from your place, they'll put the filter on, and whoever are their followers, they'll see it.
Brilliant.
If Lady Gaga comes and does a concert at Plymouth Pavilions, and she does Plymouth Pavilions, 50 million people will see Plymouth Pavilions.
Who is not going to use that? On Snapchat, you're going to use it.
What,
Well,
Lady
maybe
Gaga? I'm confused.
Snapchat filter. I think we've covered Snapchat, haven't we? Anything else to add?
I think we've gone through it really fast, but it's kind of our thing at the moment. It's quite exciting.
Yeah.
If we've gone a bit fast, I do apologise, but follow us on Snapchat and find out.
This is a good idea.
You got
We should tell
NK Ellison
NK Ellison.
and Mr. Matt Young, MR Matt Young.
There
So
you go.
yeah, follow that and laugh, and you can laugh at me or with me. I don't mind.
But you get to see the behind the scenes story of Matt walking his dogs every morning. So that's
Really
brilliant.
enthralling. Picking up poo. Hooray! I did tell a story the other day. This complete stranger walked past me as I'm picking up behind my dog, and I looked up this woman. I just went, "Good morning." She was a fellow dog walker, and she just looked at me and said, "Warms your hands, doesn't it?" And I pissed myself laughing.
That's funny and gross.
It's just totally gross and funny. And I said it into my Snapchat story, and I got replies to people going, "Oh, proper belly laughed at that." And that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
Nothing at all to do with social media, but it's probably building up the personality of me. If you deal with me, that's what I'm like. That's kind of like.
It's personal branding still, isn't it? People are getting to know you a bit more, and they can make a decision on whether they want to use you or not. At least a bit weird, but stay away from them.
He likes
Keeps
warm
his
hands.
hands warm with dog food.
There was a bag between my hand and the poo. Okay.
Glad you clarified that. Snapchat covered. I think. I hope that was of some use to you.
Or were my hands covered in? Yeah. No. Sorry.
We'll leave the poo conversation there.
Sorry.
Follow us on Snapchat, and we're going to move on to part 3, where we can talk about. Have we got time?
Yeah.
Facebook.
You're the expert.
We'll do Facebook. Go into episode 3 or part 3 of On the Sofa with Nick and with Mr. Matt Young, where we talk about Facebook.